Welcome back everyone to another training week. You're watching the week of March 27th, where I had my ass beat by gymnastics so hard. The weekly focus for the week was to put my double tuck full on the floor, and right on the Monday I was able to do it. Right there, I was super stoked, pretty nervous for the first one. I've never actually properly put full out on the floor, or a half-half depending how you see it. Usually when I tried a half-half in the past, I would rush the twist and do full in to be safe and make sure the twist was all the way around. The other focus is where I'm getting my butt kicked, trying to get my all-around endurance back up. And the main part that's standing in the way right now is pommel horse. It's hurting my wrist. I'm getting some dangerous pains near this bone right here. So I have to start being a little bit more careful. On the plus side, I've done so many attempts at least trying to do my skills. I think now I can be a little bit more efficient and just go to horse, get the job done, and move on. But the amount of pain it's causing me, and it makes me so tired for the rest of the apparatus, my God. I think I'm gonna name this week not struggle week, but this is just straight suffering. I'm literally just suffering in my trainings. I'm still enjoying a lot of it, but I like to be honest in these videos. And the honest truth is, by the time I get to P-bars and high bar, especially on the Tuesday and the Friday sessions, oh man, suffering is the perfect word to describe it. Here I decided to include some circles for fitness. Thought it might be a fun little addition. So I've been doing the Peter Nichols method, where you do your max rep and then you rest for 10 seconds, then you do another rep. And like I mentioned in previous videos, I decided, since my shoulders are really tight and circling on the leather for me is really difficult, I do my main rep on the main max set on the leather, and then do the second set on the handles, which is where I actually finish my routine. So it makes more sense that way. Another thing that's probably not helping horses, I'm getting stronger. My planche feels stronger, my invert feels a little bit stronger, and I'm getting bigger, I'm bulking up a bit. Not the greatest thing for pommel horse, obviously, but you know. And like I said, if I did have more time between World Cups and Oceania Champs, I would have been a lot more smart and progressive in my build-up. But because of such a limited time and because of the importance of this competition, it's the one place New Zealand can qualify an entire team to the World Championships, and it is the only World Championships qualifier for Team New Zealand outside of the World Cups. Now, fingers crossed, I get an invite to Worlds based on my first reserve on P-bar performance in Doha. But with just one good performance, I don't know how likely that's going to be. So it is going to be important for me to do a good all-round, as it's World Champs is obviously another stepping stone towards Paris, and anybody that wants to do Paris will have an opportunity to qualify at World Championships through the all-around. Of course, you can qualify through apparatus, but you pretty much have to win, and for somebody in my shoes, that is near impossible. So all-around would be where I would put all my eggs. Oh, but man, it's hard. It's hard, but I love it. You know, when you do all these hard things and you're getting frustrated and nothing's going your way, and then a month later, you just start to see a little bit of gains. Like right now, you'll see this one day I didn't even catch any releases, couldn't catch anything. And I know over the weeks as they go by, things will start to get easier. I'm already feeling a little bit lighter on high bar, at least on the Monday session. Tuesdays is still quite rough. And it's good to feel those gains. It's so rewarding. Doing something difficult, messing it up over and over again, not having your way for so long, for so many turns, and then finally just for one turn, having things go your way. It's extremely rewarding. So over the next couple weeks, this week and the following week, you'll see my high bar going haywire. And again, I have to get used to doing it sixth. I've also had to stop doing Mars's since then, because doing those front giants gets exactly where my wrist feels painful. So I gotta play it smart from here, because if I overdo and get an injury, like there's the bursa around there, and I've had a mate, actually Chris Dunn, I don't know if Chris, sometimes Chris watches the videos, but Chris's bursa swelled up to the size of a tennis ball right here where the bone is. This was back in the Ohio State days, and then Chris came back pretty quickly, and I remember he came back for a week or so, and then boom, swelled right back up again, and he had to go into surgery for a second time to get things cleared out. So that memory was the first thing that came to mind when I started feeling quite intense pains in that bone area over here. So you'll see that I'm trying to do the same thing on the Mondays, the same thing on the Tuesdays, where we can call Monday and Thursday day 1, Tuesday and Friday day 2. This particular week I didn't do a Friday because we went down to the Mount in Tauranga, my favorite city in the whole wide world. Shout out to Abel from Tauranga. We went to Argos, there was a competition there, and we left on Thursday afternoon, so couldn't train from Friday. But the competition went really well for the boys. But anyway, where was I? So Monday and Thursday I consider day 1, Tuesday and Friday as day 2, and my plan for the last few weeks has been to ease myself into it on the Monday and save most of my energy for Tuesday training, but still to hit all 6 apparatus, at least a little bit on all 6 apparatus on the Monday, in order to get used to just doing all 6. Probably already mentioned, but in Oceania we're gonna have podium training the day before competition, so it's gonna pay to do a similar sort of thing with my trainings here. So you can see almost nothing is going my way in the last few weeks. And I just trust it. I trust my work, I trust my plan, and I trust that I will have a bit of a surplus in energy on the day that counts. Here comes a funny little hiccup. I should have warmed it up. It's been so long since I've done it, and I thought, like, it's just a backer press to straddle. Point one more, why not? And pressing up to handstand out of the straddle is easier for me to keep my arms locked. Apparently I don't know how to do a backer press to straddle anymore, fam. And it goes to show, even the easy little things, doesn't matter how much experience you have, if you haven't done it for a few years, sometimes you gotta get some reps in before you stick it in a routine. Vault hurts a lot. I don't think my wrist was as bad here, but it was at the end of this week where I understood that it's not just a little niggle, it's a bit more serious than that. Stutzes, catching stutzes is something funny. It's like this whole part of my arm switches off. You might see it if you slow it down on some of these stutzes, but that one was actually okay. And when the body begins to compensate and tries not to put as much pressure on one side, whether it's an arm or a leg, you know it's protecting yourself. You know that, okay, something is wrong. My body knows it. Best to be careful and not to push it. Because if it's at that point, probably almost certainly it's going to lead to a more of a hard injury that's going to take a few weeks to recover from. And with only 4 weeks left remaining, or whatever it is, we simply don't have that kind of time frame. So we're treading dangerous waters from here on out. But you know, like I said before, most of the skills I've already repeated, so I can keep it to a minimum. And obviously you'll be able to tell by the shape in my pommel horse skills, it's far from ready. But it's better to be, you know, able to compete and have a chance to get some points on the table for Team New Zealand rather than having to withdraw. So if you saw that, you'll see that something in that left arm is as if pulling back during that Stutz catch. It doesn't want to push all the way into the bar. And it was after the next day that I realized it's that wrist. Actually, it looks like everything is a little bit off here. Yep, there you go. I shook the hand. I was like, what is that? But being me, I keep going. Still got that adrenaline activated, so not feeling too much. Now, it looks like I actually had a decent day on this giant D arm here, and it's pretty much the only one because I've been struggling again to get the grip. The temperature's changing, the seasons are changing here in New Zealand from summer to whatever the next season is, autumn. And I haven't been able to in the last week and this week. Easter Friday today, by the way. I haven't been able to this week get a single giant Diamondov in a whole first chunk. I've also been trying to do less giant Diamondovs in isolation and more giant Diamondovs in sequence or first half because it's completely different. I feel like it's quite easy for me to do it by itself as an individual skill, but it's just a drastic difference to put 3 skills before it. You know, the hands are sweating. You can't predict exactly how much the hands are gonna sweat depending on what temperature it is in the gym, depending on how warm your body is. There's just so many factors. So I've been trying to play. Oh yes, what a day. What a beautiful day. This is the day where I just caught nothing. 6 separatus. I just remember I was dizzy. I couldn't tell left from right in the air. And just one more whammy to just boom, just to finish myself off. On the plus side, I've caught my first Cassina this week since the World Cups. Well, actually since Doha, because I never caught a Cassina in Baku. So I caught my first Cassina in probably like a month or so. Just on Tuesday. So 3 days ago. It looks like in the second half of the week, things work a little bit better. And interestingly, it was exactly the same leading up to the World Championships, where I would kind of be able to get a P-bar routine under my belt if I was lucky on the Tuesday, but I could never get a high bar routine on the Tuesday. If I did a high bar routine during the World's build-up, it would always be on the Friday. And this is something that I've noticed a long time ago. And actually, here's a little side note. I remember in Rio, or it might have been actually, I think it was one of the Croatia World Cups, I was talking to Alexander Shatilov, or Alexander Shatilov, as you'd say in a Russian accent. And I was talking to him about that, how I'd noticed that somehow as the days go on, I feel better and better. And he agreed. I don't know how to translate the word he used, but it was similar to an idea as like it has a roll-on effect. So if you do just the right amounts day after day, if you don't overdo, each day you get a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Things feel easier and easier and easier. And now if I think about it, I think it applies probably more when you're a bit out of shape. And obviously I'm definitely out of all-round shape, trying to get back into it. But I think once an athlete is in peak condition, you can pretty much come in on Monday, day one after a weekend, and hit your stuff without much problems. Since Commonwealth Games, I've been starting to do some weights on my legs twice a week. Nothing drastic, just some simple squats, single leg kind of half squats, working on my glutes a little bit more. If you remember, I had another interruption with my knee and I had to pull out of all-round final. So since then I've been doing legs twice a week, and I've noticed that floor has been quite easy to come back to. Less knee pain, not just in floor but in all my landings in general, but particularly in layup punch double front. When I look back to like a previous Oceania build-up, it would take me quite a bit of training days, or maybe a couple weeks, just to stand up the double front consistently, even on that resi pit that I just landed in. And always takes me another week or two to get it more or less solid on the floor. But here I noticed pretty much from day one I was able to stand it up quite nicely. Reminds me of the 360 training camp a couple months back where I did the layup punch double pike on the resi. And I attribute that little addition in power just to doing a little bit of leg conditioning twice a week. Should probably get rid of both of those inlet gates. Opted out of the back of price to straddle there. And I feel like I sent double in this routine. And that's going to be my strategy. Just do an easy routine but make up some points on the dismount. Now by itself, the double, it's not bad. In the routine, of course, you do run the risk of falling at worst. Chest down, massive steps. You know, part of me thinks, well, there's no pike down deduction like there would be in a double back layup full. But another part knows that can't take it for granted. If I'm tired, if I'm having a bad day, it's gonna be hard just to stand the double up. But at this rate, I'm gonna stick to it. I did it over the hard rings on Tuesday. Felt okay. I have yet to do it in a routine over hard. Got a little bit cocky in that vault there. I remember that vault. I felt like I got a really good block. Flared it out at the end. Didn't do my usual pike down. And ate some mat in return. Thursday, last training day for this week. There's the salute. How did it go? Swine the Honma up on a training day, on a regular training day. Must have meant I had my coffee that morning. To be honest, I think that's the only one that I've swined to handstand since the World Cups. And no grip. Now I've put that mat underneath the bar because our P-bar mat has sunk quite a bit. And when I stood to chalk the bars at the World Cups, I almost felt like I was a foot taller because you're standing on quite solid mats. So that I don't get too complacent with bending my knees through the bottom of those giants, I thought I'd put a little extra layer just to keep myself in check and make things a bit more difficult. to remind myself that it's not going to be so easy to clear the mats, to not hit my toes on that bottom mat during giants in a competition. Lots of casinas, lots of misses. You'll see the phone there to the right, just in case I catch, to get on that Coleman grind. We're almost at 50 Colemans, fam, and just the other day it came to mind. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Arms on head, not happy. But just the other day it came to mind how I might finish Coleman 100. But that's still probably another half a year to go at this rate. I try not to upload the messy ones. I try to leave the clean ones for the road to 100 Colemans. But yeah, pretty excited when we finally get there. Can you imagine Coleman 99? 100's gonna be epic. We'll have to kick out of it full send. So that's me for now, fam. It's suffering, but I know it's gonna get better. I know it's gonna get easier. Thanks for sticking with us. Till next time.